You all know him, one of the longest time friends of the show, one of the real OG returning champions. I've known this guy for a few years. So have all of you. He ran against Ritchie Torres in New York's 15th district in 2024, and he is running again in 2026. So please welcome our friend here at Do Dissidents, Jose Vega. Jose, what's up, Jose?
What's up, Jose?
Howdy. It's been a minute. It's been a while. I figured you guys would be tired of me by this point.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're looking good, man. You're looking good. You're looking
you look healthy.
All right, well, let's get into this because it was a no good, terrible, very bad week for your opponent, incumbent Congressman Ritchie Torres. First, it was revealed that not only did he vote for, arms package after arms package to Israel, but that he was personally investing in these weapons companies and personally profiting off of that. Then he went on the Adam Friedland show where he was really just put to shame for his lack of empathy as Adam's pouring his heart out about his journey into and then out of Zionism. So it was really a terrible week for your opponent, which is a great week for you, which is part of why we brought you on, because you were, of course, quick to capitalize on this. So we're going to play this video, but do you want to explain where you were and why you went here when you did?
Yeah, so I was pretty pissed off when the news came out that he was personally profiting off of the death of children. And actually the news dropped, at least I read it the night before I did this video. And I actually went to go see Jimmy because he was in town. And the moment I left hanging out with him, I was just itching. I was like, I need to do something, right? Because I'm his opponent. I'm here. So I need to say something about this. So I was hate scrolling Ritchie Torres's content this whole month. And I realized, oh, he's pretending he cares about the district again. He was showing up at different places in the Bronx. And I'm like, why the fuck don't I know where this guy is? So he wasn't posting where he was going. So I saw that the most recent place he was at the place I went to, McKinley Houses, right? Where he plays this terrible video of like an old person who's in like a wheelchair and can barely breathe. And it's just like, we love Ritchie. We only want Ritchie. And he's like, see, everyone here loves me. Everyone here is with me 100%. So I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to talk to those people who live where he just was to see if they really do love him. So that's why I went there.
Okay. So let's take a look at this video here. Is about 3 minutes, but this was pretty great. So let's take a look at Jose interacting with the residents of this area recently visited by Ritchie Torres.
We're coming for you.
So it turns out that Israel's biggest cheerleader, Ritchie Torres, was personally profiting off of the slaughter and genocide of the Palestinian people. Not only was he voting against ceasefire resolutions, not only was he voting to send money, arms, and weapons to Israel, he was investing in the same companies that were producing missiles, bombs, bullets that would be used to kill 80% of the casualties in Palestine, which turned out to be innocent civilians. That's the person who represents this area. And that's who I'm here to talk to the constituents. See, he was here 3 days ago in McKinley Houses.
Hello, it's Congressman Torres from the Bronx. I'm here at McKinley Houses in the South Bronx.
And so I want to talk to the constituents to see if they know what their congressman has been up to, show them a good alternative, me, and see just what their concerns about and how much they actually do care about Palestine and Israel. Do you know who this man is?
I don't.
No.
No.
Nah.
No.
This man is Congressman Ritchie Torres, and he represents this district. And it was revealed that he is investing in companies that make weapons, missiles, bombs, and bullets. He himself personally was investing in these companies that send weapons and missiles to Israel. He's doing it under your name. For the last 4 years, was voting to send money and weapons to Israel. This video is of journalists at a hospital in Palestine, live TV. You see Israel just strikes them out of nowhere. Just watch that. Boom.
I had to blur that for YouTube, obviously.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Oh.
So, these are journalists at a hospital in Gaza,
What are
in
they
Palestine.
doing?
They're there. They're just working there at the hospital. All of us, boom, an Israeli missile.
Wow.
A missile hit these journalists on live TV. That is what Ritchie Torres is voting to send money and weapons to. He is the biggest cheerleader for the genocide that's happening in Palestine.
Oh, wow.
He invested money into the companies that make missiles and weapons that are sent to Israel.
For real?
Yeah. I'm dead ass.
That is, I don't know, that's something else.
That's the person who represents you right now.
Oh, no, well, we don't want him. We want you there. Get it. Kick him out.
Remember the name Jose Vega.
Jose Vega? Okay.
We need a new Congress.
Yeah.
You do need a new Congress. You
do.
need a new congressman. My name's Jose Vega. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Jose Vega.
Jose Vega. Check my boy Jose Vega out.
My name's Jose Vega, and I want to represent you. Would you support me?
I would support you.
Yeah, you'll vote for me?
Vote Jose.
Remember the name Jose Vega.
Jose Vega, I got you.
All right. Nicely done, man. I mean, that reminds me of what I said at your fundraiser a little over a year ago, that, you know, if enough people know who this guy is, then anything can happen. And it's just a matter of just showing people. I mean, what you did there is so powerful. You show what is clearly a premeditated attack on these journalists. He supports this full-throatedly, not only to support it, he's profiting off of it. What do you think about that? And, you know, anyone with a beating heart in their chest is going to feel the same way about it. So very nicely done.
Well, that's what I was just thinking about too, because you had said if just everybody in the Bronx who voted for this guy just like knew what he was up to, they would not vote for him again, and they would clearly vote for me. You know, and I was like, wait, yeah, let's actually just try that, right? Let's just go over there where Ritchie Torres says he has his support. He clearly doesn't. And actually, there were a few more interactions that I was unable to keep in the video because, well. And actually, let this be a greater point for you all. I filmed that with my friend Kynan, and that was it, right? And then I edited it myself. So, you know, like, don't worry if your mom is not a film director who makes Disney movies, and your dad's not a famous academician.
Shots fired.
I'm not
Shots
resentful.
fired.
I'm not resentful. But it's a good point though, because like I just did, this is the most low budget thing I did. And I want to encourage everybody else to go do the same thing. Cause Ritchie Torres is not the only AIPAC funded congressman out there, right? The chances are that wherever you are watching this current live stream from, you can go and do the same thing, and you should record it so that you can make it a trend for other people to go out and do the same thing and inform the people about their congressman. But what would you say? Oh yeah, going out and doing this, whatnot. So there were a few more interactions that I couldn't put there. Like there was one very nice lady who, and the reason I couldn't put it was because Kynan had shot the film way too dark. And so it just looks like silhouettes talking to each other. And no hate on Kynan. He's learning as we go along with this. But he did the rest of the shooting. So, and hi Kynan. But she said, "Oh, I know Ritchie Torres. Yeah, he was just here the other day, and he said he wants to do something on housing." And I was like, "Great. Well, can you point to me to something he has done on housing?" And she couldn't, because he actually hasn't done anything for the public housing here. And I gave her the whole briefing, and she was like, "This is the first time I've heard about this. I didn't know that Ritchie Torres was doing this." And it's like, yeah, right. So let that one dispel the myth that the people of the Bronx don't care about anything but getting food on the table. I hate that. I hate that so much, because they don't. And secondly, let that go to show you the lack of knowledge that people have. Your neighbors don't watch Due Dissidents as much as they should. Not that, you know, like it will be the MSNBC of the independent media space someday.
Oh, thanks. Great compliment.
That's very nice.
Very nice of you to say.
But you know, your neighbors don't know the things that you think they should know. And if they did know, they would be acting completely differently. And so I would just say, like, now's the time to just go out and say, I don't care what your politics are. Our congressman is funding this. Are you willing to let this stand or not? That's that's all it takes at this point now, because that's how depraved this is. Right? It's been like over 2 years now of just pure genocide, right? People want to keep talking about October 7th. You can't say October 7th anymore. It's just ridiculous to say, well, but October 7th. What about October 7th? Okay, that was almost 2 years ago at this point. Why did you kill 80% of the people that have died in Palestine so far are civilians, right? So
At
how
least.
many? All right, at least. So how many October 7th have we done for that population at that point? That's all you've got. Even my dad, whom I love to death, who is a Christian fundamentalist, is starting to come around. He saw that video I put out. I put it out on Facebook of all places, which I hate Facebook. And I just did that because Instagram lets you auto post it. He saw and he said, son, I'm proud of what you're doing, and he said, I think that's wrong, killing in the name of God, right? Like my dad, who's like, hardcore Christian fundamentalist Zionist, is like this. Yeah, this is gone.
A Zionist? Your dad?
My dad's a Zionist. I hate to say that. He's not. He wouldn't call himself a Zionist. Like he doesn't know what that means. He's like Ted Cruz. Like he's like, well, son.
My dad's like Ted Cruz.
Like he's this whole, like he says, like God. God.
So he's
says
gay?
No.
No.
He says. My dad's like, well, in the Bible, it says, blessed are those that, bless Israel. Like he said this to me even before it was popular, when Tucker Carlson was saying it. And, Mike, that's just my dad, who's bought into the Christian fundamentalism of it. But now he's like, he's being won over. And this isn't to jump on my dad or anything. My dad has always supported my campaign. And funny, actually, I went to go visit my dad in December. He's like, son, I think you put up a hell of a fight and a great campaign, and I'm sorry you didn't win. And I just don't think God was on your side because of how critical you were of Israel, and I can't fight against God. God didn't want you to win, and so you might want to reconsider that, son, but I know where you're coming from. So, that was kind of funny, actually. But regardless, my dad's still a supporter. He's still here for me. So,
Yeah. See, my dad is Jewish, but my dad is at that Palestine conference in Detroit this weekend. But he had a big problem. He accidentally booked a hotel in Canada because it's right across the river from Detroit, and he didn't have his passport with him, so he couldn't get to it. So he had to fight them for a refund and then book another place. Yeah. So those are the misadventures of my dad. But I wanted to, because you said something interesting about how the people in the Bronx don't just care about the kitchen table issues and the finances and stuff like that, and I think that's true and encouraging if so. But I think you made this point on RBN the other day. You pointed out how these things are kind of connected in the sense that Torres, as part of that Adam Friedland interview, tried to downplay U.S. support for Israel by claiming, well, it's only however many $1 billion out of a $7 trillion budget, or I forget the exact math. I think he said $25 billion, which we could end homelessness in America for $25 billion. So in his district, you could probably end homelessness for $500 million. So it actually is quite a bit of money. It actually is quite a large investment that we make that does affect people's bottom line.
That is what the big response is when I say we've sent $25 billion to Israel. The first thing people do say is, oh my God, that's crazy. They just closed down a Catholic All Hallows school. So there's a school here in the South Bronx, was here, now it's not anymore, called All Hallows. It was the only Catholic high school in the South Bronx that was churning out a 100% graduation rate, which is like completely unheard of that they had this. And the reason they were shut down was because they needed, I think it was like $15 million or something, and the community raised $12 million. And Ritchie Torres was aware of this. Vanessa Gibson, the borough president, was aware of this. Nobody said, here's the remaining $3 million. Ritchie Torres could have called his donors, okay, and said, hey, this Catholic school needs $3 million. Can somebody? He didn't do that. And so that's like the thing that people bring up immediately is, yeah, well, why are we closing down schools and yet we have all this money for Israel, right? Why are we closing down hospitals and yet we have all this money for Israel, right? So, people are very aware of our financial support for Israel and how they're being shortchanged here in the Bronx, which is also why a lot of people have given up support on the federal government. And I understand that. People are like, listen, I like you, kid, but I don't know if I'll go out and vote anymore because I'm tired of voting. you know, and it doesn't actually fundamentally change anything. I'll give you I was in Woodlawn recently, which is a big Irish part of the Bronx, and this nice old lady, like, you know, thick Irish accent, 72 years old, you know, she sees my table and she's just kind of standing at afar, and then she comes over and she says, you know, I must tell you, I voted for Trump. And she started crying because I thought he was going. She started crying because she said, I thought he was going to end the wars. He said he was going to end the wars. And I voted for Trump because Kamala Harris wanted to keep the wars going. And Trump said he wanted to stop. And now I feel complicit in the genocide because he's allowed it to continue. And so, you know, she was like freaked the hell out. And in that case, me being an independent was like the thing that won her over to donate. You know, she donated $20 right there. She just pulled out her purse and gave us $20 because she's like, how can I trust you? How do I know you're just not like any other politician? I said, ma'am, I'm doing the hardest way you can be a politician, which is I'm going in as an independent.
Right.
You know, and that to her was like, okay, well, then that for me is a basis that I think I can trust you on. Just the very fact you're not going in the two-party system. Because she was like, really just like, I could see this was something that she thought she was personally responsible for the deaths of the people in Palestine because of her vote. And she meant well voting for Trump. She was obviously, you know, she was wrong, but I'm not going to recriminate her. Some people really did believe that. And, you know, I mean, everybody went through some kind of like shock at the election. So not to bring this down.
No worries. Russ, I have one more piece.
He's not a revolutionary?
He's not a revolutionary.
I heard he was a revolutionary.
Please clap.